Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
It's a £1 billion development hailed as a new dawn in British-Chinese relations by London's Mayor Boris Johnson. But an investigation by this programme into the deal with Chinese developer ABP to build a vast new business park in East London has raised serious concerns about the human rights record of the company and how the contract was won. Tonight there are calls for an independent investigation as a critic claimed that the whole deal smells of a semi-corrupt relationship. Michael Crick has this exclusive report.
Look at the skyline of London, writhing and sprouting with extraordinary growth, like a speeded-up David Attenborough nature film.
London's for sale, and it's China's favourite place to invest. And this is their biggest British property investment, Royal Albert Dock, next to London's City Airport. A Chinese firm, Advanced Business Park, ABP, has won a £1 billion deal for a vast new business park here.
Nothing has been quite as exciting as what is now proposed by ABP at the Royal Docks.
But we've been examining this mysterious Chinese company with friends in high places.
Mr. Johnson, wasn't the Royal Albert Dock fixed for ABP? The deal between Boris Johnson and the Chinese firm ABP was hailed as a new dawn for Anglo-Chinese relations. But an investigation by Channel 4 News raises serious questions about ABP's record in China, and also Johnson's decision to make them the development partner for what is publicly owned land.
Beijing, this is the Fengtai Science Park, a joint venture with the local government, and the only project ABP has finished to date. But at a cost to some of the residents moved from this land for it to be built. On Christmas Day 4 years ago, one family came back to find bulldozers had destroyed their home. The mother was pushed to the ground by security men. Their house was rubble, all their possessions inside, and security men tried to silence them. Under Chinese law, they should be offered fair compensation, but the family insists it was a fraction of the market rate, and they were fighting for more money when the demolition men turned up. ABP have told us that when they got the site in 2003, it was empty. But according to legal documents, the family's home was demolished in 2010, when this video was shot. In London this week, Boris Johnson seemed surprised to hear of this.
Did you check up on ABP's record in China? Because we've come across families who had their homes destroyed in China, who were evicted from the ABP's one big development in China, and say they didn't get proper legal compensation. Did you know about that?
I congratulate you on your,
Isn't that kind of research that you should be doing?
Well, let's see. Obviously, that wasn't, as far as I can see, relevant to the tendering process.
You don't think the human rights record of the company involved in this massive development is of relevance?
Well, obviously, it's a very interesting piece of information that we will look at.
In any bidding process, one of the first things you look at for anybody who's bidding is their track record. What have they actually done? Are they a safe pair of hands? Or have they got a style of operation that would be totally inappropriate and alien in the United Kingdom?
So how did the boss of ABP, Xu Weiping, with just one completed development, knock out 12 other competitors in the deal for this prime piece of public land? The answer may be Xuelin Black. Born in China, she's now a UK citizen, married to the Tory Home Office Minister, Lord Bates. Xuelin Black told us she first met Xu Weiping in 2008 and told him about the Royal Albert Dock. She set up a company called London China ABP without ABP's knowledge, she says, so as to pursue the project, but it was dissolved 2 years later. In 2010, she began making big donations to the Conservatives, the first for £50,000. Soon, Black was regularly pictured with Tory bigwigs, and she even took the Conservative peer and big society czar Lord Wei to China, according to his Lord's Register, at ABP expense.
Finally, in October 2012, ABP were appointed front-runner to redevelop the Royal Albert Dock site. 2 weeks later, Xuelin Black made her last donation to the Conservatives as registered with the Electoral Commission. In just over 2 years, she'd given the party a total of more than £160,000. Now, she's told us that was all her own money, not Xu Weiping's. And she says she still gives money to the Tories. But since ABP won the contract, it's only been about £5,000 a year.
And Xuelin Black says she was never paid by ABP for anything.
So it was nothing to do with the fact that Xuelin Black, the woman who was working on behalf of ABP to get this site, gave £162,000 to the Conservative Party?
No.
That's a pure coincidence, is it? Again, it looks fishy though, doesn't it?
Well, you know, this is, again, you're
You didn't know about this?
making, I think, a series of allegations against this company and against the deal. You know,
And well, against your stewardship as mayor as well.
I think it's our job to do what we can to get investment in the city and to get jobs and growth.
Winning such investment needs much more than high-profile trips to China. The mayor has his own agency and gives it millions of pounds of taxpayers' money to promote investment. It's called London and Partners.
The mayor set up London and Partners, and London and Partners are his inward investment arm, and he funds 2/3 of them. So you would expect the mayor to have a grip on the practices of London and Partners.
From the start, London and Partners were central to the Royal Albert Dock project. They handled international marketing, and official documentation described London and Partners as stakeholders in the process. The mayor even had his own chief representative in China, a man called Tongbo Liu. Hello, is that Tongbo Liu? A call to him revealed just what a cosy relationship London and Partners have long had with ABP.
I understand you are the chief representative of the mayor's office from London. You don't do that anymore?
He said he now works for ABP and had done so for more than 2 years.
You're now the general manager of ABP Overseas Affairs in China? Right.
Then he said that ABP had also taken over the lease of what used to be London and Partners' Beijing office.
So basically the office was run by you for the London mayor and London Partners, and then in 2012, you took over the new job for ABP and ABP took over the offices. Right.
He later told us that ABP took over the lease in March 2012. That's while the tender was at a critical stage. ABP and London and Partners confirm they have been sharing the office, but they say until January of last year they had separate leases.
Not long after London and Partners' man in Beijing went to work for ABP and they began sharing an office with the developer, London and Partners were asked to carry out a crucial task: to assess ABP's ability to attract Chinese businesses to the Royal Albert Dock site, critical to their pitch. But the GLA has a code of practice on tenders which says there must be no favouritism or bias, or appearance of favouritism or bias.
It has the smell of a semi-corrupt arrangement, doesn't it? If, in fact, somebody is going through a sham process to ensure that somebody they want to be successful in the bidding process, but it's not a level playing field for UK companies, and there have been some financial transactions of an intimate nature, then that smells to me of a semi-corrupt arrangement.
So who's responsible? The man who oversaw both London and Partners and the bidding process is the Mayor, Boris Johnson.
It raises concerns about the Mayor's overseeing of the practices of London and Partners.
So the buck lies with him, stops with him.
Well, when you're an executive mayor and a one-man band, it does.
Did you know that they shared an office in Beijing?
As far as I'm aware, there was a proper tender process, and all due diligence has been done.
But it looks fishy, doesn't it? That the ABP was sharing an office with London and Partners, your representatives in Beijing.
Well, you're telling me something I don't
didn't
know
know
about.
that?
As far as I'm aware, a proper tendering process is done.
I suspect there needs to be an independent investigation to the process that's taken place.
London and Partners insist they had no role in the decision to award ABP the tender. ABP told us they went through a robust and thorough process and strongly dispute our findings. This deal raises big issues about whether, in Boris Johnson's rush to open London to rich foreign business, corners were cut. Did the Chinese ABP have the right track record? And was the whole process fair to rival bidders, most of whom were British?
That exclusive report from Michael Craig.